Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Henry Arth, your product manager, and today I wanted to throw an idea out in the universe for all of you on-site technicians that I like to kind of refer to as the piecemeal on-site workflow. The piecemeal on-site workflow is essentially the situation that a lot of you have if you're in the scale industry or if you're going on site. You have a work order that is open, but you don't know what they're going to bring you to work on until you really get there. So maybe you have a blank work order and they bring you piece by piece by piece until you're done with your day or done with your job. So I wanted to walk you through one way to do it, which would be a classic way to do it, and some of the pitfalls there, and then I'm going to walk you through maybe a newer version of that that's a little more out of box, that is event driven. So when you're on site, maybe you have a TechSync field service unit and you are going to your job site and you have a work order. This work order has nothing on it. So a work order with nothing on it, meaning, hey, just go there and do whatever needs to be done. So if you're going to add work, this would be the traditional way of going about it. You would simply go to your scheduled work tab. You would add the scheduled work. You would specify your event type, and then you would add the piece of equipment here. So you have to know what your piece of equipment here is, first of all, and if it doesn't exist here, then you have to go create it anyway. So let's just go ahead and say it's asset schedule 2. You press OK, and it's here. Now it's pretty easy at this point. You click on the button here and it's going to automatically launch the event for you. And let's just kind of blow right through this one and make sure I have everything I need there. Sure, why not? Press finish, complete the event. One piece at a time. Every time that we complete that last piece, IndySoft works very hard to complete that work order, okay? Which means the next time you try to go add something, your add button is grayed out and you have to go and remember and have the permissions to go and incomplete the work order for the next item to come in. A lot of times folks, what they'll do here is add kind of a blank piece of equipment or a non-existent item in order to keep that work order open. So I thought of maybe an alternate way with a couple of recent features as well as another bug fix that might be really nice for you instead. So maybe your technicians are more used to working off the equipment view. I'm going to go ahead and remove this for us. So they go to the equipment view, and you can see my little flow chart here. It's really very basic because on-site workflows tend to be pretty basic. You go and perform the work, and then you have a work order at the end of it, and maybe you get it signed and you're done. So in this case, we're going to do everything from the equipment view and have our reference for our work order number 44 here. So the idea is whatever work order you have selected, that's the work order you're working on. You don't necessarily have to go back to the screen to review anything. You may want to, you may not want to, but let's just say you're really focused on doing your work. Okay, so maybe we'll go and start with asset schedule number 2 here, and I'll go ahead and launch the stage on-site work. So what we're doing with the stage on-site work is really what this video is about, and we're going to go ahead and walk you through a few of the options I selected here. In step 5, miscellaneous, we added a new feature here, pull order system job number as work order number. What that does is that overrides any kind of workflow that you might have for your receiving type of operation where you have to perform an event to set a field to do all these things. What this is going to do is say, what we're going to try to do is we're going to look at the order system that you have currently on your screen. We're going to look at that work order number, and that's going to be your work order number that you reference in this event. So no longer having to have any kind of workflow other than saying the one on the screen is the one I'm working on. After that, we have a few other options here, and the biggest part of this is there was a recent bug fix here where if you had an auto launch rule which added an item to a work order or estimate and it matched the same launch event, then it would not launch the event after the fact. So you couldn't do this before. But the idea is here we have a stage the event, we have a staging event. It's very quick. It automatically pulls in the work order number. You could even have it, collect your temperature for you. You could do a number of these items at the beginning of this event as a part of your staging, whatever that means, really. Your setup time. You can also calculate turnaround time based upon that, maybe more realistically than going in there and just running a calibration event. So the idea here is you go into the event, you select what you're going to be doing to that piece of equipment. At the completion of the event, we automatically add that piece of equipment and event type to the work order and then auto launch you into that event directly. Okay? So the cool thing and the thing to note here about the auto launch rules is that they fire in alphabetical order. So if you're going to create the calibration event, and I should also note that the create calibration event, create repair event, the create work order line type here, it doesn't just create work orders. It also notices if a work order already exists, it's going to add that line item to it. So essentially we're going to say, does the event say calibration or repair? So a simple event selection rule, so you're not commandeering any equipment fields unnecessarily. Custom one is calibration, and very similarly, the repair item, custom one is repair. And then based upon that field, however we're utilizing it, we're automatically launching into that event that you're saying you want. So this is a lot of to do for a very simple action, and we'll get there in just a moment. The other thing that I am utilizing here is a custom rule. I hope to have an out-of-box function here at some point soon, but this is basically going to say if you're running this and you're trying to add something to a completed work order, we would normally out-of-box block you for that. But what this little script does is it actually goes in, incompletes the work order that you're working on because you're adding items to it so that you can add items to it. So really simple there, and I'll kind of just show you what this looks like. If I press Stage Onsite Work here, I get a screen that pops up. It references the work order number 44, which is already on the screen here because I use a step 5 option. I can specify if I'm calibrating or repairing, and you can have as many options here as you really want depending on how many event types you have. Again, you could add a number of fields for staging here, temperature, humidity, anything else that you really need to do to simplify the calibration event. You could add any comments if you really want to. And upon pressing finish, the event's going to loop through and it's going to say, okay, I'm going to create a work order line item with a calibration event type, which automatically adds it to that work order, to 44, and then we're going to launch into it. Now you can also skip this screen to make it simpler, but it's nice to know what's going on when you're testing. So you press OK. It automatically completes that event and then automatically pushes you into the calibration event. So there's no time lost. You're not adding something. You can even set up this event to be able to create a piece of equipment from a template, that staging event. Kind of do everything in one step here. So once you kind of go through your calibration event, you add everything, what you're going to see is that you can complete the event and the order system automatically has that line item added. It automatically completes it. It does automatically complete the whole work order because it was the last item, but maybe we also want to run a repair or a service repair event on another piece of equipment. Well, I still have work order 44 on the screen. I can go to my staging event, Stage Onsite Work. I can specify that this piece of equipment needs to be repaired. Add any notes. Press Finish. This is our little sign that says, hey, you want to mark this as incomplete. That's our custom script coming in. And it's going to automatically add the line item. And it's going to launch you directly into that repair event. Whatever your repair event really does here, you can basically blow right through it. Mark it as complete. And then if you go over to your order system, you're going to see that your service repair event is completed, that your work order is completed, and you can rinse and repeat. So I thought that might kind of be a useful way of going about it to make sure that the technician on the road has a simpler experience by being able to launch a Stage Onsite event and then automatically be pushed into exactly what they're supposed to do. So I hope you find this helpful, maybe a few tips in there for you, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks.